All right, we are live. Sunny Days Media Football Show, Week 3. Ant, your first time on this season. Welcome back. We got a baby on the way. It's coming at some point between now and Wednesday. Can you hear it? Can you hear us, Pacino?
Yo.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, all right. There we go.
Wait, hold up. I got to switch you and Jerry. There we go.
Are we live? Live?
We are live, Jerry.
Okay.
We are live. Let's get right into it. Jerry, now you're sideways, brother.
Great.
Yeah, not a good look. Not a good look for the stream. But we'll figure it out. Yeah, now you're upside down. Just like the Jets offense, upside down.
Yep.
Where do we want to start? You haven't been on in 2 weeks. Your Jaguars are 1-1. Your Jets are 0-2. Let's give you the floor here. What do you want to start with?
I love talking about the Jets. I mean, it's we're watching college football again, right? That's what we do. Watch college football, and we hope that the next quarterback is going to save us. So, obviously, this guy Justin Fields isn't, and it's funny because you can have great games in this league, but you cannot have the game that he had week 2. You can't. Like you can. I'm fine if you throw 2 picks and you just don't have it one day, but you throw for 240 and you're in it late and you're trying to get your guys the ball, you're running around, you're making things happen. You can't throw 25 yards in one game. That's the problem. And that's why he's starting quarterback in the league.
I tell you what, I think I would take.
Dude, give him a second. Give him a second.
Yeah.
He looked great against us. Can you hear me okay? How's the audio?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He looked perfectly fine against the Steelers. Some might say adequate. I believe he was a top 5 fantasy quarterback that weekend. And then week 2, you play the Buffalo Bills. Probably the Super Bowl favorite in the NFL. It's fine. You can't really judge him this week because he's not playing right now, but I don't want to jump to any conclusions about him. I think he's serviceable. He's exactly what he signed up to be, a bridge quarterback. He's not going to be the saving grace that we thought he was going to be. He's not the franchise quarterback, but he's going to be perfectly fine.
I mean, tale of two games here, right? So, game 1 against the Steelers, which, yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, they play the Bills week 2. So, game 1 against the Steelers, he's 16 for 22, 1 touchdown in the air. No fumbles. Yeah, didn't fumble. 2 touchdowns on the ground, 12 for 48 in rushing. He was responsible for 3 touchdowns in that game. They lost. Not his fault, right? As a defense, you can't be giving up 34 points to a quarterback you just got rid of. And, week 2, you played the Buffalo Bills. You got your ass kicked. I think that was a team loss. I mean, Justin Fields had a terrible game. I agree with you. He had a terrible game, but I don't know. I mean, Jared Goff had a pretty bad week 1, came back and threw for 5 touchdowns in week 2 against a lesser opponent. So, we're going into week 3 here. I think we all knew Justin Fields was the bridge quarterback, right? We knew the Jets were barring any crazy, MVP type season, Justin Fields was not going to get an extension with the Jets. He's here to keep things moving for a year until maybe you find your next quarterback. And I'll tell you what, I mean, if the Jets win more than 6 games, it's going to be really hard to get that quarterback, the quarterback that maybe most people are going to have their eyes on, because you won't be picking in the top 5. So I think I said it for the past 2 weeks. I said it to you the other day, Casino, when we were talking the car ride home. If you're the Jets, it is super important, and you could say this about any team, but I think coming from just a disaster of how long was Salah there? 3 seasons, 3.5 seasons? Like a disastrous 3.5 seasons, almost as disastrous with Todd Bowles, right? For 5 years before that, 4 years before that. Like, I think what you want to see is that the team looks significantly better by week 18. Like, that's what you want to see, right? Because you're
Yeah,
probably not going to be a playoff team.
That's not. But what I'm saying is like, you can have Jared Goff week 1 games, but the reason he's not a starter in the league isn't because of what he did against the Steelers. What he did against the Steelers was great. You know, he didn't win, but he threw for 200 something yards, touchdown. The run game was going. He was completing some passes. I think you guys are forgetting. He threw for 27 yards and had a 27% completion percentage in 3.5 quarters of football. And then he left the game with a concussion because the only asset that the guy has to his game is running around the field trying to make a play with his legs. You don't win like that. And what we're doing as Jets fans is we're watching college football today. And next Saturday and the Saturday after that, we're going to be watching Fernando Mendoza, Sellers, Taylon Green, Nussmeier, and we're hoping and praying that those guys are good. I can root for losses as a Jets fan. I can root for wins. They go 0-4. I will root for this team to lose every single football game. They deserve to lose every game. They hired the wrong head coach. They have a horrible culture.
How is Aaron?
Dude, Aaron Glenn's the reason. Aaron Glenn's the reason the Lions didn't win the Super Bowl, dude. The guy can't coach his way out of a fucking paper bag, dude.
Coaching like he had one foot out the door. And Ben Johnson having Jameson Williams throw a pass in a game where you're down by 10 is the reason the Lions weren't in that position. 21 guys on IR is the reason. Like, no, not Aaron Glenn.
The guy can't coach defense. Your defense let up 50 points in the championship game. He can't coach. They let up 30 points, 40 points against the Bills. The fucking Buccaneers have no linemen. If they let up 30 points against the Buccaneers, I would rather have had Robert Saleh as the coach because at least his defense was a little bit more prepared. I feel like it's a.
One guy at a time. One guy at a time. The scream's all over the place. Go ahead, Jerry.
Listen, I want to talk about tomorrow because we can't dwell on week 2. It's the Bills. Like I said before, it's literally the team that, if all things go according to plan, is going to win the Super Bowl this year. This week, tomorrow at 1 p.m., we are playing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that is banged up. Like you said, Facino, they have no offensive line. Baker is banged up bad after that. They're coming off a short rest. They played on Monday night. So I'm not saying I like our chances, and I know we can't really truly judge it because we also have injuries. We're downfields. I heard Malachi Moore is playing in I forgot who he's replacing, but we have some injuries ourselves. But I think we can win tomorrow. And call me unrealistic or whatever word you want to use there, but I think we have a shot. I truly think we have a shot tomorrow.
I mean, like, just think about what you're saying here, Pacino. How many coaches can you name in the NFL that are like head coaches that are actually good head coaches? Like, there's really not a lot of them. There really isn't, right? Like, Andy Reid.
Got him on one hand.
Andy Reid, John Harbaugh. No, I think you can do 2 hands, right? Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. You could say Dan Campbell. You could say Sirianni.
Tomlin.
I don't even know that Mike Tomlin did anymore. Like,
I think so.
The point of this, yeah, but like, okay, to
what
your
about
point,
Sean Payton?
To your point here, like you're shitting on Aaron Glenn. Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in like a decade with a really, really good system in place for him. Like a great organization, a great fan base. He's had good quarterback play, not recently, but like he had Ben Roethlisberger. Now he's got debatably a top 3 defensive player in the league at TJ Watt. They've got a hell of a secondary. Like, Mike Tomlin's had weapons, and he hasn't gotten the job done. It's really fucking hard to coach in this league. Aaron Glenn is 2 weeks in to his Jets tenure. This was a bad roster. Why did you fire the GM last year? Who was your who was your asshole of the week every week 2 years ago? Who was it?
Joe Douglas.
Okay. So this guy inherits Joe Douglas's disaster. The cap is a disaster because you signed that fucking jerk off Aaron Rodgers that you then had to cut. Okay, this was a disaster of a job. This was not a job anyone was lining up to get. You're talking about an organization with a 13-year-old who's actually making decisions.
I know
here.
one guy that would have took the
13
job.
No. A 13-year-old who was
Who?
making decisions at one point.
Josh McCown would have took the job.
A guy who's never really coached in the NFL.
Fine by me. We have no quarterback play. We haven't had quarterback play for 50 years.
Oh, you're right. No, Josh
need
McCown in his tremendous NFL career with multiple playoff victories and Super Bowl championships. That's the guy that's going to.
You have to take the chance. We don't have a quarterback.
On a guy who was an absolute legend in a Jets uniform that desperately wanted this job. Like, that's what you
and
did.
couldn't coach his way out of a paper bag with the
ugly.
Lions.
What?
Now, hold on a second now. Also, look back to the Lions real quick. Look at Dan Campbell's first year in Detroit. What do they go past?
3-13-1.
Right.
3-13-1.
You have to change the culture somehow. It doesn't happen overnight. He doesn't have a team where he can just walk in the door and be like, all right, we're doing it this way. This isn't, I don't know. He's not going to coach LSU or something like that where it's already the road is paved. You have to build the culture, and we saw Aaron Glenn do that already with the cuts he's been making week in and week out, which personally I don't necessarily agree with. You want to bench him, fine, but I think cuts a little extreme.
Who?
But
Xavier Gibson?
I think they might cut. They're talking about cutting, or at least Reddit's talking about cutting. Who got the roughing the passer penalty?
Oh, they should have caught it. This is the problem. How did the coaching staff allow Xavier Gibson to make the team? How did they allow Michael Clemens to be their only option? We knew for 3 years Michael Clemens was a fucking loser. We knew Xavier Gibson couldn't do anything since the first game he played in the NFL. Yet they somehow were able to sneak on this team. How did they make the roster? That guy Pritchett is on the practice squad. He could have returned kicks. What are they doing? They gave away a game, week 1. And then they allow Michael Clemens to continue to fucking do that bullshit over and over again. The guy cannot be a Jet. I'm sorry. He can't be a Jet.
You ripped this organization down to the studs. I think it's the right thing. I think what Aaron Glenn is doing is the right thing. We could lose with you. We could lose without you, brother. We don't need you here. Aaron Glenn's got a long-term contract here. He's doing exactly what Dan Campbell did. He walked in, got rid of the veterans that he didn't think he needed anymore because it ain't going to get turned around in 2 years. It ain't going to get turned around in 3 years, right? So do what you have to do. Rebuild this roster. Take your lumps. Yeah. Dan Campbell started 3-13-1 and then started 2022 at 1-6. Jerry, we can't hear you. You're muted.
I was going to say 11-0. That wasn't until the next year, right?
No. They started 1-6 and finished that season 9-8. It's going to look really ugly before it gets any better. And it's hard to say that to Jet fans who have been rebuilding and it's been regime after regime after regime, and I get that. But like, let's all be honest with ourselves. You're not the prettiest girl at the dance, right? You're really not. You found someone that came up to you, wanted to dance with you, was willing to get made fun of for a little while. I think you got to give that guy a fucking chance. I think you got to give that guy some time. Justin Fields is not the answer. He never was. If he was the answer, he'd get a 5-year deal. He got a 1-year deal. All right. Justin Fields is 5 years old, 26 years old. He's on his third team. Like, that guy was never going to be the answer. They locked down certain long-term pieces in Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, which I think, as Jet fans, you should be happy with, because those are the draft picks that have worked out so far, right?
You can add Brees into that conversation. I want to see Brees get a contract. I want to see Brees get a contract.
I agree with you, but he's a running back. If you think that it's going to take too long to turn this thing around, if you don't think he's a great culture guy, okay, you could let him walk. But they locked down.
Justin Fields is a joke. That's the bottom line. And they just strap themselves, next year.
But it's a 1-year deal. It doesn't affect you next year.
It's a 2-year deal. It's $23 million on the cap next year. For what?
The cap doesn't matter because you're not good. It's
just a joke why they paid him.
The cap doesn't matter. What matters is your draft picks. That's what matters. What matters is building through the draft right now.
They're going to have next year $57 million tied up to Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers on their cap next year. It isn't. It's irresponsible.
Well, who was their move? I mean, you're going to say Russell Wilson?
They could have brought in Wilson,
Jameis. I would have taken Jameis.
Jameis,
you'd be complaining about the same things you're complaining with Justin Fields.
No,
the only thing is Jameis
would be complaining about the same thing. I would be having.
Or they could have done
having so much fun.
I would have a lot of fun with Jameis. I also know that what was probably best for this team was to just go start a 6th round quarterback, lose every single game, and get the number 1 pick.
Yeah, but you can't do that, dude. That's just not how this game works. That's not how this
works
league
out.
You
works.
definitely wouldn't have retained Garrett Wilson doing
It
that.
works
No,
out
Garrett
like
Wilson
more
would've
than
taken-
half the time.
Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner both would have taken a hard look at that and said, "Not a shot."
Well, that's what you do
I'm
is
not
you
signing
sign
this
those players before you do that, and that's what I think. That's why it kind of bothers me that they brought in Justin Fields, because it felt like they were trying to appease a wide receiver. Like a wide receiver means nothing to me. I'm sorry, like Garrett Wilson. If you want to leave, that's fine. I need a quarterback. I need to have an offensive line and a quarterback, and I can throw it to anybody. You know, Tom Brady proved that. These guys can throw it to anybody as long as they have time and they're worth it at that position. We don't have a real quarterback.
The offensive line. You can't complain about the offensive line.
Offensive line's been decent.
The offensive line has gotten so much better, and that's where it starts. I'm telling you, once he comes back healthy and we don't play the Super Bowl favorite team, you're going to see a respectable Jets team ran by Justin Fields.
I don't want to see Justin Fields ever again. I'd
So
much rather watch Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod's going to play 3 games for us before he either gets hurt or benched, and that's
fine
okay.
by me.
That's fine.
Because he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields. And if he gets hurt and we're down to our 3rd string guy, then I want to see Brady Cook lose every single game. And I want to see a quarterback come in number 1 overall, like Matthew Stafford and like Jared Goff. Because the guy chuckling over there on the left, he's just been fucking hanging out with 1st-round picks for the last, or number 1 overall pick. You've had a number 1 overall pick quarterback for almost 2 decades. How does that feel?
For every Matthew Stafford, there's a Joey Harrington. There's a Carson Wentz.
There's Marcus Russell.
There's a kid from Oregon. Mariota, who's now a backup, a career backup. Jameis Winston. Like for every one of those guys, there's the other guys that also suck. So your problems don't just dissolve because you get a 1st-round
But
quarterback.
there's a 50% chance that they do. Because if you get Joe Burrow, you get Andrew Luck.
I would say you draft a quarterback in the 1st round, it's probably like an 8%, 10% chance that they're actually any good.
But that number 1 pick.
Especially given today's college climate.
Failed than succeeded. It's really difficult. It's really difficult.
Look at the most recent number 1 overall quarterback playing right now. How's he doing? Do you wish he was a Jet?
Okay,
yes, I would trade for Caleb Williams.
Oh, I'm not talking about Cam Ward. You're right.
I think
Cam
that
Ward.
the offensive line.
Yeah.
Oh, brother, I think Chicago would trade with you right now.
You know what? I think it's a win-win for both teams because Caleb Williams is not working out over there.
You're so full of shit. You're so full of shit.
Dude, this team's not. The problem is that I'm spending money. I'm going to these games, and I'm just seeing how much the gap is gigantic.
We're going to end the argument here because we're 18 minutes in, and we've only talked about an 0-2 team. So Aaron Glenn was the wrong guy. What does that make Ben Johnson? Just yes or no, like one word answers.
I would say you give the offensive-minded guy way more time.
Okay, so. Oh, okay. So the offensive-minded guy gets more time than the defensive-minded
Absolutely.
guy. Right. Rex Ryan,
especially the guy that's proven himself.
Rex Ryan was a total disaster for you guys, right? 2 straight AFC championships with a
He was immediately successful, though, with a much more talented roster.
Okay. So you would take Caleb from the offensive mastermind who probably won't be able to fix Caleb. Let's all be honest here, right?
Yeah, he sucks. But I would still take him because there's a glimmer of hope there.
We got to move on. We got Rams in Philly, Steelers in Philly. We got a really good Sunday slate ahead of us, and then we have a hell of a Monday night game. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think so far this is probably going to be Monday night games. Usually suck. I think this is going to be a great Monday night game. What do we want to? Let's start with this. Let's start with Rams at Philly. I think this is an interesting game. I watched 2 guys talk about it quickly on a YouTube short or Instagram reel, and it intrigued me a little bit. long term this year, I don't know about the Rams. I think that they're supremely talented, but Matthew Stafford's back is a problem. They've basically everything is reliant upon this guy being held together. Like if put it this way, Matthew Stafford plays 17 games for the Rams, they're going to win 12, 13 games this year. They're that good. I think Verse is probably a top 5 pass rusher. He's fantastic. They've got great receivers to throw to. They've got a hell of an O-line. They're going to Philly. Philly's run game's awesome. Pass game, not so much. And not trying to throw darts at Jalen Hurts here, but like the biggest thing he's got to his name, the past two, like other than, not criticizing what he did in the Super Bowl was phenomenal. But a lot of it's the tush push. Like that's his bread and butter. That's their bread and butter, which I think the NFL officiating is just going to – they're just going to not allow it anymore. Like they're going to start calling offsides. They're going to start calling false starts. They're going to make it they can't outlaw the play, but they're going to make it impossible for Philly to run it. But Rams at Philly is interesting. Philly is favored by 3.5. I think Stafford can absolutely outduel Jalen Hurts. Just that Philly run game is fantastic. I think if you're looking for an upset game, if you're looking to take an underdog this week, I like the Rams. And I think I like the over because I don't think Philly's defense is all that great.
I think they're gonna give Stafford a bit of a problem on the rush and everything. And the Phillies defense does hit hard. We saw it in the Super Bowl last year. I understand that not a lot of people did return. They lost a lot of starters from that defense. But with a battered Matthew Stafford under center here, if they get in, and I know you said their offensive line in LA is pretty remarkable. But if they get in, they hit Stafford the wrong way. We might be looking – that could be it for him. So I do think this is going to be a good game. I think, like we said, I believe it was last week, we said the Eagles look human. The Eagles look like they're beatable. They're not a Goliath that the Chiefs once were coming off of a Super Bowl victory. And I don't know if the Rams are going to necessarily be the team to knock them off. But like you said, it should be a good game.
Yeah, I love the Rams this year. So, again, I don't think that when you're as talented as the Rams are, I think that the type of coach that McVay is, you're not showing as much as you want to in the beginning of the season. So I think that because they're going to be playing them, the Eagles probably in the playoffs, I think that if they do lose in Philly this week, I think that it would probably be because obviously it's an away game, and also they're probably not going to give them as much as they will give them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they'll hold back a little. I mean, but at the end of the day, September wins count as much toward getting into the playoffs as December and January wins do. I think they want to come out and have a statement win. I think that the Rams have kind of fell out of favor with the NFL media. I think when people talk about the top NFC teams, they bring up Philly, they bring up the Packers, and now everyone's sucking the Packers' dick.
Yeah.
They bring up Detroit. They bring up the Buccaneers quite a bit, rightfully so. Buccaneers are a really good football team. I think it's going to be very hard for the Jets to beat them this week. I don't care how many guys are out.
Can I say one thing real fast?
Yeah.
Baker's 50-second drill on Monday night last week, absolute masterclass of football. I had no doubt in my mind that he wasn't going to march down that field and score. It was quite upsetting that they gave him the lead in the first place, but that 50-second drive was unbelievable.
No, he's awesome. But yeah, I think the Rams want to insert themselves into that Super Bowl contender conversation. I think anybody, like the first team that knocks off, and not like a fluky win, right? Like the first team to knock off like Philly, Baltimore, Buffalo, they're going to be talked about in the Super Bowl conversation. Their Super Bowl odds are going to go up for beating a team like that, especially on the road. The benefit to being the Rams is there's no real home field advantage, right? Like nobody in LA gives a shit. Nobody goes to those. Like the stadium's packed, but it's pretty much packed with away fans. So like the dangerous part about the Rams is like you'd almost rather play them in their stadium than your own because they don't really give a fuck. They don't really care where they play. They don't really care how loud it gets. they're unfazed by it. So, once again, if you're looking for a fun game to gamble on, I think this is the best of the 1 o'clock window games. And
Twist
I don't
my
know.
arm.
What's up?
Also,
What's your-
I said twist my arm about gambling on this game. Also, though, Rams are in kind of, I don't want to call it an easy division, but the way the West have been looking this year in the NFC, it's not bad. The
Cardinals are
Niners-
frisky.
Cardinals are frisky. I don't know if they've had 2 cakewalks at games, so I don't. I want to give them until week 5 before I make my judgment on them because we know Kyler can Kyler. But if you look at the West, you got the Seahawks who are dog shit. Sam Darnold got his payday and went back to being Sam Darnold. The Niners are hurt again. What a shocker! And they're not playing like their normal self. But you still have to look out for Shanahan. The Cardinals, like you said, can be frisky. We'll see. And then there's the Rams. I think it comes down to, like you said, if Sean McVay is one of the best. I don't think we talked about him when we were talking about coaches before. Sean McVay is among one of the best coaches in the NFL, hands down. And then, like you said, with a veteran like Matt Stafford under center, if he could stay healthy and get through this season, we could see a put. I think I wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be surprised because it's an honest given. I'm sure their odds are really favorable to win the division, but I don't be surprised if they do. Is all.
Another interesting game here, 1 o'clock. Well, I got 2 ones. Well, I have 3 more than I starred. But one of them is going to be kind of funny to see. Bengals at Vikings. It's Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. They're in Minnesota for this. Minnesota is a 2.5-point favorite. Over-unders at 41.5. This is like a weird spot for the Bengals. So Joe Burrow's hurt again. He's out for 3 months. They can't protect him. Jake Browning comes in. They beat the Jags? They beat the Jags last week, right?
Yep.
Okay. They beat the Jags. They're in an odd position, right? Because if they could stay afloat in a relatively – like the AFC is top-heavy, right? You've got Buffalo. You've got Baltimore. Kansas City's 0-2, but they're like still there. I'm not really going to count out Kansas City until they're like mathematically eliminated. The Bengals are this weird team where they're definitely not going to win their division. But like, you could stay afloat if you could be at like 7 wins at the start of December, 6 wins. You could kind of like maybe foresee this team getting into the playoffs, right? Depending on how Denver looks, some of these other fringe teams, the Patriots, how many games they could win. But if you're the Bengals, you're 2-0 right now. I mean, you're playing another backup quarterback. My question is like, at what point do they start trading guys?
The
Like,
Bengals?
You're 2-0, but you just lost. You just lost. What's his face? Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
You just lost Joe Burrow for 3 months. You've got Trey Hendrickson, who you signed to a 1-year extension that expires at the end of this year. That also came with a stipulation that he can't be franchise tagged.
I think Jake Browning's an underrated quarterback.
I was about to say, I think Jake Browning's going to win them a solid 7 games. I think he's better than people give him credit for. He's not flashy, but I think he's going to win.
Jake Browning wins them 7 games. He's signing a multi-year contract, not to be a starter, but he's going to get himself paid as a backup.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
I think that one thing about Jake Browning is that not that Joe Burrow is not an amazing quarterback, but you can just, if you can throw it with conviction and confidence to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, you're going to be good because they're so good at the point of attack. Like, they're always going to come down with the ball in these 50-50 balls, and like, all you got to do is just have the confidence to throw it to them, and Jake Browning does. So, I mean, look, if he goes out there and throws for 250 yards a game, Bengals defense isn't horrible. They're okay. They're much better than they were last year.
It's not good.
No, but it's much better than it was last year. Much improved. So, I think that team, they're 2-0. If they can get to, if he can win them 5 out of the next 11 games, and they're 7-5 or 7-6, and Joe Burrow comes back, they're fine. And I think that's their goal. Because look, they could have called Kirk Cousins.
They physically couldn't afford it. There's so much money kicked down the road. Whoever takes on Kirk Cousins is taking on like $28 million a year. Like, no, that's a contract that can't be traded unless the Falcons eat the money, which I guess is possible. Then you just want high picks back. This is their next couple of weeks. Can I read them out?
Yep.
They go to the Vikings tomorrow. They go to Denver the week after that. That's on a Monday night. That's tough. Then they play the Lions. Then they go to Green Bay. Then they play the Steelers. Then they play the Jets, the Bears. They have a Week 10 bye week, which is a killer for them. And then right after the bye week, they're going to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to be bad this year because of Aaron Rodgers. So that's potentially 2 wins. Other than that, I mean, the Jets by October 26th, I don't know what they look like, but I don't think they're beating the Lions. I don't think they're beating the Broncos. I don't think they beat the Vikings. I don't think they beat the Packers. Like, those were games that were going to be hard for them to win with Joe Burrow. Now you're talking about Jake Browning. Like, that's tough. That's a lot to ask for. And you're talking about and not to cut you off, Jerry. Just let me finish this. You've got the trade deadline. I want to say that's around week 10. Like, you're looking at
Halloween. Trade
Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah.
Okay. You're talking about a team that might be 3 wins at Halloween, 4 wins. I mean, if you have 4 wins at Halloween and you're holding on to Trey Hendrickson, that's going to be hard to explain unless the rest of the AFC is also at 4 wins, which won't be possible. That's a really hard thing to explain, man. I mean, you're sitting on a potential first-round pick and then some, trading him away. A guy that you're not going to be able to re-sign anyway. I think that's a lot better than a compensatory third-round pick you're going to get for him the year after.
They'll have to make that decision when the time comes. They'd have to lose a lot of games in a row, though.
Can I say something that really hurts my heart to say?
Yeah.
We talked about it last year for a bit, and I motherfucked you up and down. I think it's time to have a conversation about Joe Burrow's health. He's going on, year 5, 6 now, give or take, and he's been injured 4 out of the 6 with long-term injuries at this point, and it's as Joe Burrow is probably my favorite NFL player. I think he's fucking ice, whatever you want to call him. But you got to stay healthy, man. This is turning into one of those stories where, like not a Bo Jackson type story, but one of those where it's like we watch greatness, we know he's great, and he just can't stay on the field.
It's almost like if you weren't paying 2 all-star wide receivers, maybe you could afford to pay 2 guards and a center, maybe. I don't know, right? Look at
let's call it for what it is: 1.5 all-star wide receivers.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't draft a guard or a center when they could have, and they drafted Shamar Stewart. What did they do in the second round?
The end because they knew they were losing Trey Hendrickson because they fumbled that contract to begin with, right? They're a collection of fucking idiots in Cincinnati.
I'm Joe, I'm marching into that office either at the end of the season or once I get help, and I said, look, you need to fix this. I need protection, or I'm going to leave, and going to
Joe
make Jamar
didn't do himself any favors.
Also his fault. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe signed a
just retire.
No, Joe signed, no. Joe made this bet.
This is onto the ball forever.
Joe, no. I would not say that. I think
he doesn't throw the football.
I think Joe Burrow is by far and away the best quarterback in football. I think he's above Josh Allen. I think he's above Lamar. I think he's above Mahomes. This guy is phenomenal. None of those guys could do what Joe Burrow does with that team. I don't care if you're throwing to Calvin Johnson. If you've got no one blocking for you, which you watched 12 years of Detroit, you'll see that, okay? This is an organization that fumbles contracts. The only reason they got Joe's contract is because he's the quarterback. They have failed to protect him. They have failed to do anything for that defense. Trey Hendrickson's the only thing that they've got, the only thing worth watching defensively on Sundays, and they're about to lose him. and they're playing games with this contract, they fucking played games with a rookie contract. Like, no one does that literally no one. The Cleveland Browns don't do that anymore. Nobody does that because these contracts are set in stone. There's no negotiating. And what did the Bengals do? They negotiated. Like, what are you negotiating for? It's stupid. They are a stupid organization. They are cheap. They don't even have an indoor facility. You play in Cincinnati, and you're still practicing on the University of Cincinnati's field? What the fuck are we doing? And no, Joe Burrow needs to look at himself and point the finger and say, you're the idiot because you chose to resign here and you chose to sign for a record-breaking deal. You could have chose to take $15 million less a year and said, hey, use this money to get me two guys that could fucking block. But you didn't. And listen, I have no qualms with that. Like, go get your money, brother. But, like, also don't look around when you keep getting hurt every year, like wondering how that happened.
It's insane because they had a second-round pick and they took a linebacker. I don't understand.
They had to beef it up, though, because you had to think that last year's offense was good enough to get somewhere if they had a defense, and they didn't. I do think they made the right decision in that regard, but sign a lineman in free agency or something. Pick somebody
well, the
up.
Bears tried that with 3 O-linemen. They spent $100 million in like 2 days, and that O-line doesn't look too good either. I'm just saying, like, there's no development. There's no development on the offensive line. I think, unfortunately, that Super Bowl run is like the best we're going to see from them, unfortunately. And it's not Burrow's fault. It's not Chase's fault. I don't even – like, people want to shit on Zach Taylor. Like, I don't even know if he's a bad coach. I don't know if he's a good one. But I certainly don't know if he's a bad one because I don't know. Like, I love Jared Goff. Jared would be hurt in Cincinnati too. Jared can't run. Like, even Lamar Jackson would probably be hurt if he was playing in Cincinnati right now. Maybe they'd be 2-0 also, right? Maybe he'd still have 2 MVPs to his name. Not saying he wouldn't, but like it's really hard to win in a place where you've got no blocking and no defense. You gotta like Joe Burrow has to suit up every Sunday that he's healthy and say, not only do I have to run for my life today, and I really can't run. Not only do I have to run for my fucking life, I have to find a way to be fucking perfect and put up 45 because my defense is going to do shit. My kicker's is going to miss. My punter's going to shank. Like, it's like it's just him out there. It's him and some good skill players. I mean, they can't even get a run game going. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass here. I think organizationally they're a disaster. I think they're about as bad as the Browns when it comes to organization. I mean, maybe they're a little better because they didn't sign a dude who tries to fuck every massage therapist, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And once again, hard for me to also not blame Joe because you could have left and you stayed and you took a ton of money to stay.
Where was he going to go, though?
Wherever he fucking
never
wanted.
left.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you're telling me that's not a perfect. Could you imagine if he had played that contract out, the Rams never put an extension on Matt Stafford? Man, imagine that guy in a Rams uniform. The NFC would be on lockdown. Lockdown.
It certainly help his cause. That's a fucking free ride to the Super Bowl year in and year out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the way that it works is that you're signing a 7-year deal. So, like, he would have went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 24 would have been a 5th-year option. And then this year would have been a franchise tag, and they would have franchised him again. And he would have been there.
At like, what, $70 million? They wouldn't have franchised him again because now the median is like, the median of the top 3 is like, what, $48 million a year, $52 million a year, 53, 55. And then on top of that, you franchise him again at like, they add on top of that. So it would have been like $70 million. They wouldn't have been able to do that. They would have lost him. They would have lost him in free agency. And he could have went anywhere he wanted. You know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But I'm hoping they lose. I mean, I want to see them beat the Vikings, but I'd like to see them kind of lose out. And
I'm excited to see Carson Wentz get a start, dude. That's going to be something, huh? What if he just balls out?
I think he's going to be better than McCarthy. McCarthy's brutal.
Pacino, it's hard to hear. I think I'm going to move the mic closer to you.
I think McCarthy's kind of brutal, so I think that the Vikings will once again have this random random quarterback that's been in a bunch of spots, and
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll play well for them. And then they'll have to make their decision, and they'll probably pick McCarthy because they're stupid, and they'll, that'll be it.
I think it's early on McCarthy. He's young. He's really young, and like
He's lost 4 games in his entire life, or something like that.
Yeah, well, that one of them was fucking yesterday, and he looked like shit, or on Sunday.
Yeah.
He just doesn't look like. I'm sorry, he just doesn't look like an NFL quarterback.
But like, you drafted a kid who came from a program that had everything laid out. I mean, he was fantastic in whatever he was asked to do that year. He was fantastic. Like, he made the throws. That's one thing no one can take away from JJ McCarthy. That 2023, it was 2023, right? The year that Michigan won the national championship. Like, that year, he didn't have to make a lot of throws. I mean, they beat Penn State without throwing the ball in the second half. I don't know if you guys remember that game. JJ made every throw they needed him to make. The only knock on JJ is that he really didn't have to throw that much. But I think it's early. I was not a big believer in him. I also think Michael Penix is going to suck, and a lot of people suck his dick. So let's see what happens there.
I disagree there. I think Penix is going to be okay.
He wasn't that good last week. I mean, not saying that as a predetermination of his career, but like, what's his face? JJ's only played 3 games in the NFL?
2 games. He didn't make a single game.
He didn't
play a single game last year. Nope.
Michael Penix has played a little more. Michael Penix didn't look good either. Another game we're looking at here. AFC implications. Steelers at Pats. The Steelers are favorited. The Pats defense was supposed to be the bread and butter to this team to kind of help Drake May along, and they've looked bad.
No, they're garbage. Patriots have been in shootouts both weeks. I love the Patriots here, and that hurts me to say as a Jets fan, but I think the Patriots are going to beat. I don't want to say beat the shit out of the Steelers, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a shootout and the Patriots come out on top.
Yeah, I think no. I can't bet against my boy Rodgers.
You can't bet against your boy Rodgers.
Never.
Rodgers could throw 5 picks, and you're going to blame it on the hot dog
whip
guy.
his dick out on him. Rodgers is I'm sorry.
He's washed.
He may be washed.
He's washed.
But he's not going to lose to the Patriots.
His swan song was week 1, and then it's just going to be downhill from there. Like I said on this show many times, he played week 1 with hate in his heart, and you're not going to see that play from him for the rest of the year. I think this is – let's see. I think week 3 is going to be a big-time – like, I don't want to call it necessarily moving day, but we'll have a better idea now of where teams are going to be kind of sitting for the rest of the year. I understand that might be hard to make a judgment based on all the injuries that's come out this week. We lost Jaden Daniels. We lost J.J. McCarthy. We lost Justin Fields. A whole lot of big-time injuries that have implications across the league. But this week, I think we're going to be able to make a lot of judgments moving forward for the rest of the year. That being said, I think Rodgers might have a decent game because the Pats defense sucks, like we mentioned before. But other than that, I don't think it's going to be anything remarkable.
I think we only lost JJ for as long as Carson Wentz I think if Carson Wentz looks decent, I think JJ is going to be out longer, right? Like, I think they're going to want to let JJ totally.
Someone said it was a soft benching where they kind of wanted to sit him and be like, oh, he's not ready yet. But let's say because he's hurt, but let's say he's more hurt than he is and get him on the report and all that stuff and play fucking Carson Wentz.
But like maybe JJ was also and like I'm not to make excuses, but like maybe JJ was also a problem. Like he did play in a pro style offense. He played in a run first offense, but like he's a young kid. Maybe the best thing for him was to like not play for a little while and to hold and I know that's a hard thing to say about a first round quarterback. And like, yes, the expectation is first round quarterbacks should be ready to start week 1, year 1. And I do agree with that. And like, if I'm going to be as hard on Caleb as I am on everyone else, then that is the truth. But like, I think it would benefit him to sit back and watch. I don't know that Carson Wentz is the best guy to learn from, but I can tell you this. If you had to have any coach in the NFL to groom a quarterback, it's Kevin O'Connell.
Or
So
Kevin O'Connell, yeah.
that's the one thing that
Yeah, but they why go backwards? Like I know Darnold didn't play well in that obviously in that playoff game, but you know what? Like they went backwards because the coach thinks he's a genius.
No, I think that, but no,
That's
because
what I think.
I
think sometimes their heads get too big.
You use the 9th overall pick on a quarterback. Like if the Jets drafted a quarterback, 9th overall, that tore his ACL, and Justin Fields came in and won 14 games, like I don't know. I like you also
they could have traded the Jets and got the 7th overall pick for JJ McCarthy, most likely. And then what? You could take Membu, or you could take
all I was
edge
saying
rusher.
The whole JJ thing was they had to go one way. You couldn't re-sign Sam and still hold on to JJ. Like it had to be one or the other. They went with the guy they drafted, and I think that was the right decision. Sam Darnold hasn't looked good. He's 1-1, but he hasn't really looked good. Like we have kind of there's a lot of tape out on Sam Darnold, and like if you watch the end of that Viking season when they needed Sam Darnold the most, he crumbled. He absolutely crumbled, and it wasn't like you could say that about Jared Goff last year at the Lions, but like Jared had a bad game. He had a bad game, and it was a playoff game, and we kill him for it, and rightfully so. You're the paid quarterback, but like Sam Darnold did not have the best month of December. Like by then, the league caught on.
The wheels were falling off.
The wheels were off. The league caught on. Like primetime game with the division on the line, you lost, and like you scored 9 points. You couldn't even put a ball in the end zone. And then you go out in the playoff game in Arizona, right? Like the LA Rams couldn't even play in their own stadium. Not like they have a home field advantage anyway, but like you played in Arizona where there's probably more Vikings fans than Rams fans because Ram fans don't exist. They only existed in St. Louis. And a lot of people from Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan, and Illinois retire in Arizona. You kind of had a home field advantage in Arizona, and you lost that game. So, I think the tape was out on Sam. I think Kevin O'Connell has done a great job, in Jerry's words, making chicken salad out of chicken shit. And they're trying to develop a young guy. I don't kill them for it. And I think Kevin O'Connell is a phenomenal head coach that if they get JJ wrong, I think he's going to get another chance to draft the quarterback. And if they get that guy wrong, he'll probably get another chance again because if he keeps having double-digit win seasons in Minnesota, it's going to be hard to let that guy go. I mean, let's all be honest here. Like, as a Lions fan, yeah, I'd rather be Detroit. But I think, would you rather be Minnesota than Jacksonville? Would you rather be Minnesota than the Jets? Like, okay, they have a bit of an issue at QB, kind of early to tell. But everything else is pretty sound there. I mean, maybe not this year. Let's see what it looks like this year because they had to squeak by the Bears, and they got blanked by the Falcons. But so
the only reason I'd rather be the Vikings than the Jets is so I can hear the skull clap. The skull clap is so fucking cool, dude. I love that.
I think it's funnier when opposing teams do it back to them when they score.
Yeah, I mean that's a good chirp. But like
love the Lions secondary making it a point to do that every time.
In the beginning of the game, dude, when they're beating the drum and they got like fucking Josh Duhamel up there just going, yeah. It's fucking awesome.
4 o'clock window, a couple games that I like. One of them, Cowboys-Bears. Cowboys are coming to Chicago.
This is going to be a stinker of a game.
I don't know. Let's get into this a little bit. Matt Eberflus, ex-Bears head coach, just got fired last year, is now the DC in Dallas. Looks terrible. Brian Schottenheimer is the head coach of Dallas, which is wild that guy got that job. But that's another example of I think nobody wants that job until Jerry's dead.
And nepotism.
How nepotism?
It's Schottenheimer.
Yeah, I think he had. Yeah, I mean it's so long ago. He had 2 good years in New York.
Yeah, he was great on the Jets as the OC.
I think the Cowboys are winning this game. I think they're just going to score too much. That Bears defense gave up on the team last week against Detroit. They're home. I think Ben Johnson learned a lot last week. I think he opened his mouth a little too early. I think everything happened really, really fast for him these past 2 weeks. I think Caleb is not the guy that he thought Caleb was when he took this job. Either that or was just saying, the right things to the media. And next year there's going to be somebody else under center.
I don't know why he would have took the job then. There's no advantage to the Bears job. Like, he should have ran to the Jaguars.
He should have ran to the Patriots, honestly. A ton of cap space, a good organization. That was the job. I mean, unless they had Vrabel in mind.
The Bears just didn't make sense.
I think the Patriots' job was always going to be Mike Vrabel's. Always. And I think it was supposed to be Mike Vrabel's last year, but something happened and they had to take Gerard Mayo instead. And then once Vrabel said, okay, fine, I'll do it, they take Mayo to the curb.
I think he wanted the Patriots job. And then I think he wanted the Jaguars job.
Ben Johnson?
Yeah, but I
think
the
wanted
Jaguars.
Chicago. He wanted Chicago last year, but they didn't fire him before.
I don't know, man, because I think that he interviewed with the Jaguars, but they didn't want to get rid of Shad Khan, and then he immediately went to the Bears. So I don't know. But now seeing what's going on with Caleb, man, I'm definitely I think he might trade him. I think he what's his name said, Stevie Mack. He might not be a fit in the Ben Johnson offense, and I
don't think he's a fit in the NFL, dude.
I think if the Cowboys season is a disaster at the end, I think that Dak Prescott would be a really good fit in a Ben Johnson offense.
Dak Prescott's going nowhere, but I also want to say that you can apply every single criticism you made about Justin Fields to Caleb Williams, minus the fact that he has the legs, because Caleb doesn't have the same legs that Justin Fields has. And I don't think Caleb is long for the NFL. I don't think this game is working for him. I don't think he's mature enough, and I even said it in college. I didn't think he was that good coming out of USC. My old boss had a saying that said USC quarterbacks never pan out in the NFL. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think you might be onto something with that.
Something's going on. Yeah, I love USC. Something's going on with USC's QBs. Because this guy...
It's been going on.
Yep.
When was the last... Who was the last successful USC quarterback? Matt Leinart, flash in the pen. Sanchez had a couple of years. Carson
Palmer.
In the pen.
Yeah, probably Palmer.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, probably.
And really wasn't successful until later in his career.
So, what else do we have on the schedule here?
Cardinals and 49ers I highlighted. I like that game. Mac Jones, I think they're 2-0, right?
Who?
I think the Niners are 2-0.
They are.
Niners are 2-0. They're playing the Cardinals. I think this is going to be a decent game. George Kittle, I think, is still out. I want to say that this is going to be
George Kittle's on the IR.
Yeah. I want to say that this would be a game where we're going to see what the Cardinals are, but you're playing an incomplete kind of 49ers team, but it's important. It's important for both teams. Obviously, beside the fact that it's a divisional showdown, it's important because if you're the Niners and you could be 3-0 without your starting quarterback, that's a really good place to be, especially losing the guys that they lost this offseason. Makes a team that was probably looking like sellers at the deadline, maybe buyers. And if you're the Cardinals, you're trying to insert yourself into winning your division. You're trying to insert yourself into the playoffs. Kyler Murray has been very inconsistent throughout his career. It's a really important game on both ends. And I know Cardinals are not the biggest market, not the biggest fan base. But unfortunately, I'm going to be at a wedding tomorrow, which I guess if there was a Sunday for me to be at a wedding, it's probably this one because the Lions are playing Monday night. But
When's the wedding start?
it's in Jersey. It's a
Oh.
6 p.m. wedding.
Oh my god.
We're gonna have to get out of there at I got to do a concrete pour in the morning. I got to be.
That's
out by,
crazy.
Dog, you're gonna hit fucking Sunday night traffic coming home too. That blows.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna be out of there at
Actually,
9.
Okay,
we gotta
then
leave
you'll
at
be
like
okay.
9,
Yeah, you'll be
9:30.
okay then.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sunday night, can we talk? Actually, hold on before we move on to Sunday night. Not Brock Purdy. Mac Jones, I think, is a better fit for this 49ers system than people think he is. And I think you're going to see kind of I think you might see a Sam Darnold effect there. Just because I know that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones for a very long time and wanted him to be the quarterback of the Niners, and he didn't get him. They decided to go with Trey Lance instead. We know how that all worked out. But I think that if Mac Jones comes out here and balls out, I don't think the Niners are going to sweat it for a second. I still think they might remain, amongst the top dog out in the NFC, or one of the top dogs. They're not going to compete with the Lions or the Eagles or the Packers or anything like that. But I think they'll definitely still be a force to be reckoned with.
You had something, Pacino.
I can't say Mac Jones, but I do think it's a better fit than what happened last year. I think the Jaguars have a chance to bury the Texans. The Texans are 0-2.
The Texans are dog shit.
If they lose to the Jags, and I really think the Jags are going to win the game. The Jags are 1-1. They should have beat the Bengals. It's a shame they didn't beat the Bengals, but they're home against the Texans. Big revenge game after what that dirty fucking linebacker did to Trevor Lawrence last year. And I think that if they win, bless you,
Thank you.
then you got, if this is a big game for Trevor Lawrence, he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He can do great things. Obviously, Brian Thomas sold last week. You can't have a game as bad as he had. But
you got to involve Travis Hunter more than they are. You traded up for this guy. He's a generational talent. We're going into week 3. So I'm not gonna stand on a soapbox with this, but this was a guy you traded up to get. This was a guy that should be on the field nonstop these first 3 years of his career. What are you doing? He hasn't impacted the game as a receiver. He's been below average as a corner. So and I'm not killing him for it. I'm just saying what are we doing? And the Trevor Lawrence thing, part of me wants to criticize him because I was not a Trevor Lawrence fan coming out of college. I think similar to JJ, he had the perfect situation at Clemson, and he was just he was there for it, right? But it's really hard to kill Trevor Lawrence because he plays with no defense. He's got Brian Thomas, and what else? He's got no line blocking for him.
Travis Etienne.
Okay, Etienne is good. He's a good running back. I don't think he's a great running back. And regardless, that line doesn't run block that well. So it's just Trevor Lawrence has had very little he's had zero stability at the head coach and offensive coordinator position. So we want to just throw out Trevor Lawrence and then what are we doing in Jacksonville? And then what? We're going to draft another quarterback?
No.
It's just I think you got to see this. I think you got to see this through. The same goes for CJ Stroud here. Had a phenomenal rookie season. Had a terrible sophomore slump. And you know what, man? I really hope we treat if Jaden Daniels goes through a full sophomore slump, I sure as hope we treat Jaden Daniels like this if he comes out year 3 not looking good. People are talking about trading CJ Stroud the end season. This is a guy that won Rookie of the Year 2 years ago.
Ah, shit, the Jets will take him. Fuck it.
Another Ohio State quarterback.
What's it called, though? Going back to your point against Travis Hunter, that's not just a Jags problem. I noticed across the league, dude, all these rookie showstoppers, for lack of a better term, haven't really been impactful through 2 weeks of NFL play here. Saw with Omarion Hampton, who was told, at least I was told as a fantasy football owner, that the Chargers are going to have a pound the rock offense and they're going to run it through Omarion Hampton and it's going to be just absolutely lights out. Same thing with Genty, where it was going to be, the second coming of Adrian Peterson is here. We got him in the first round. We're going to just pound the rock. It's going to be electric. It's going to be a big part of this offense. Hey, we got Pete Carroll at the helm. Nope, not working that way. And then we're seeing it now with Travis Hunter, where, like you said, he's not on the field as much as he should be. Granted, Travis Hunter's playing both ways, so it's a little different there. But at one point, you got to figure out we need him to specialize in one. And I never thought for a second he was going to play both ways in the NFL. Quite frankly, it's asinine to think he's going to be able to. I think he should focus on being a receiver and let that be that. Or rather, I think he was better at corner than he was at offense. So just let him be a quarterback and call it a day. Throw him out there for special packages and let that be that. That's it. Don't let him be a
But you
three-down
traded
receiver.
up to get him, so I think you took yourself out of that
So
situation.
because you traded up, he has to be a three-down receiver and a three-down cornerback?
No,
Don't run him both ways.
I think his problem right now is that he's a slot receiver, so he's not playing in 12 personnel.
Why
which
the
is good.
fuck is he playing slot?
Because that's just the position that's his position. And it helps because he doesn't have to play when you're in 12 personnel. And you're in 12 personnel like 25, 30% of the time. So you get to have him a little bit of a break on offense. I think that they're realizing that their secondary sucks and they need him to play in the secondary. And to have him on the field on offense 100% of the snaps it really doesn't make sense because he's not, a great blocker, so you don't really want him on the field when you're running the ball. So you can take him off the field for those two tight end sets, like I was saying, and then give him that breather. You can't trot out, Montaric Brown. Tyson Campbell's super overrated. But they did get back Montaric Brown, so I'm not sure what they're going to do this week. It's always a question mark, and that's what I like about Travis Hunter. You could use him to game plan against other teams. So, this week against the Texans, I would expect for him to play about 60 to 70% of the defensive snaps. If he doesn't, then I'd be surprised. And if he doesn't have a huge year on offense, I really don't care because the Jags have shown that they're creative enough and they have enough, burst in the backfield and with, their tight ends and receivers outside of him that they can win games without him on offense. But it's a game-by-game, scenario.
I think if you didn't care about him on offense, you weren't trading up to get him. Like, if you wanted an average corner, you could have got an average corner in the second round. Like,
Yeah, but he's a really good corner.
Well, let's see it in the NFL. Like, it's really, really, really hard to play corner. I think we could count on one hand how many great corners there are in the NFL. They don't last long. It's hard. Like there's a reason we talk about Darrelle Revis and Deion Sanders the way we talk about those two guys. Like it's really hard to be that great for that long at that position. Injuries, age, like all those things, they derail any NFL career. They're going to derail a corner. Yeah. It's really hard. I think you care about what he looks like on offense. I think you need to have packages designed for him. I think he needs to be a part of the offensive game plan, like every week. He's not just a slot receiver that plays corner. No, like he should be. If you mortgage your future, you traded next year's first round pick, right? They don't have a first round pick this year. Okay, so like you're a bad team that punted next year's draft on this guy.
Well, they have 13 picks next year. The Jaguars
but you don't have
just
one in the first round.
Whatever they need. The thing with football is that it's all about game planning, and he's a great piece to game plan with on your side. So I'm every week it's exciting to see what he's going to do. Is he going to be an 8-catch, 100-yard guy on offense? He hasn't been the first 2 weeks. He may be next week. But I don't think that I don't want him to get like 8 targets for Travis Hunter's good. You get him 8 targets, he maybe catches 6 of them. Awesome. Go lock down someone's best receiver or go, get an interception, play the ball. He plays the ball extremely well. He's fantastic As far as playing zone corner at any level, I think he's an asset. And the Jaguars didn't force turnovers last year, so that's one of the reasons that he's on this team, to go force a turnover. So if he can intercept a football this week, and look, not for nothing, he made the game-sealing play against the Bengals. He locked up. I think he was up against Yoshavas. He locked them up. He swatted the ball away, and he won the game for the Jaguars. And they called a defensive pass interference that no one in their right mind agrees with. Yet, because that was called a defensive pass interference, we sit here today and we go, oh, Travis Hunter this, Travis Hunter that. Instead, the headline all week would have been Travis Hunter's game-saving play, and it's just, and then they would have said, wow, this offensive and defensive phenom.
My whole point with Travis Hunter, like I don't, I think it was a terrible pick because I don't agree with giving your first round pick next year to get, like, I don't think that was the move. Okay, but I'm not shitting on Travis Hunter. My whole point is, if I'm doing all of that to acquire a guy like this, I've got 30 pages in the playbook designated for him and for him only. I'm lining up in the shotgun with him at halfback with a designed run for him. I'm designing end around reverses for, like,
that's a little crazy.
No, I don't think it is. You see the Lions do it with St. Brown. You're going to tell me
I would do that. I would.
St. Brown's not more talented than Travis Hunter. Like, I'm just saying that he should be the focal point of, like, when he's on the field, he should be the focal point of the offense. And I'm not saying that he needs to get 50% of the team snaps. Even if he's getting 20%, he's either got to be a decoy out there or he's got to be the guy getting the ball. That's
also,
that's my only point.
Right? He's really, really fast.
Yes.
If memory serves me correctly, yeah. I don't understand why he shouldn't be a downfield
receiver. He's immensely talented. Like, I'm not taking that away from him. I'm just saying, like, offensively, he's out there, but they're just treating him like another receiver, and I think that's stupid. Like, for me, I would be designing shit for him and for him only. Not for Brian Thomas, not for ETN, for Travis Hunter. That was why you brought him in. So I get what you're saying. Like, I'm not shitting on him. You get what I mean, though? Like, there needs to be more for him. You gave up the world to get him. There needs to be more for him there. And
I think when you're acquiring players, you can't think about where they were chosen. You need to think about what's going to help you win on Sunday. And that's where I think, like, and that's what I like.
Design plays to the Heisman winner. I think design plays to that guy would probably help a 1-1 team win this Sunday.
Yeah, but I would rather the ball be in Bashal Tutin's hands. And I know he was a 4th round pick, but I would rather him get the ball.
So you're looking at Travis as more of a defensive guy.
I'm looking at Travis Hunter as an amazing player. Would
you let him return punts?
I would let him do everything. I wouldn't take him off the field, but I think that just because they want to take him off the field, if I were, I would take him off the field in 12 personnel because obviously he's not blocking the way that De'Ami Brown is. But, I mean, he just hasn't had a big game yet. But when he has a big game, people will say this at the next thing. Oh, he's great. Oh, he's this or he's that. And I don't care where he was drafted. I just care that he's on our team because I've seen a lot of first-round picks suck. I've seen first-round picks be great. But I know for one thing is that Travis Hunter can fail as a receiver, and he can go play corner and be fantastic. So as far as hitting on a pick, which is what you want to draft a player that's going to give you an impact. You basically have nothing to worry about. If he fails at one position, he's pretty much guaranteed to be good at corner. So, like, I like that they took that player there, and I fine with giving up another first-round pick for it because I feel like we hit on a pick, whatever position he plays.
Okay.
It is what it is. I mean, it also gives you a little more flexibility with the 53-man roster because you only need he's basically 2 players, so it lets you keep an extra guy. It's just a great. No one's seen this before, so hopefully
you've seen it before in a long time.
Yeah, like Chuck Bednarik. I mean, it's just I like it. I'm fine. I'm fine with with the pick. We'll see what happens. And, obviously the Aiden Hutchinson, the Trayvon Walker pick is horrible. However, I'm fine with it because right now Trayvon Walker does look like the best player on the field. So would we have rather had Aiden? Yes.
Of course.
2 years ago, do you regret the pick? Yes. Last year, do you regret the pick? Yes. This year, I'm fine with it. It's fine.
Okay.
It is what it is. So,
Okay.
but we lost Jerry.
Yeah, he had to go to a structure fire. Chiefs at be safe, Jerry. Chiefs at Giants. Chiefs are coming in -6.5. I think if they did not have the Chiefs name, they would not be -6.5.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild, but the Giants are bad.
We don't even have to spend time on this. I actually am hoping and praying the Giants win. I would love to see the Chiefs lose, and
Yeah.
I don't think they're very good this year. I really don't.
I don't think so either. Like every other football instinct in my body, in my fat stomach of a body, would tell me that the Chiefs are like if you watch this team and you like X'd out the names on the backs of the jerseys and you like made it in black and white so you didn't know what the color of the jersey was and you removed the logo on the helmet. Like we would all be saying, like this team's bad, like
Yeah.
that's what we would be saying. But because of the Chiefs, and I guess like when you win 3 Super Bowls in 7 years,
You get the benefit of the doubt.
you kind of earn that. And I think people shitting on them, like I'm just like, yeah, you're probably right, but like you might look stupid come week 13. Like that's all I'm saying. It's like I know they're 0-2, and I want to see them lose as much as everyone else wants to see them lose. But like my uncle always told me, don't count your chickens before they hatch. Like they were that's still Pat Mahomes, and I know Pat Mahomes hasn't looked good the past 2 years. Like I know that. Everybody, my buddy Chase loves to point out to me his horrific stats over the past.
Yeah, he doesn't do any. He doesn't throw the ball down the field. He doesn't
totally get it.
What the Chiefs will do is I don't think they're going to lose to the Giants, but I think the following week they have a tough opponent. They can go to 1-3, and I think that's where you go make the trade for Tyreek Hill, and then you go win the Super Bowl again. Honestly, I think that they're Tyreek Hill away. They don't have a guy, and even Xavier Worthy is not.
No.
He's not Tyreek Hill, and having both of them on the field at the same time would be ridiculous. And I think that's the missing piece, and I think they have to get rid of Kelsey.
Can you have? I think they're more of like a Tucker Kraft, Cole Kmet, Sam Laporta away than they like. I think Travis Kelsey's kind of the problem there.
They've had horrible drafts.
No,
they have not drafted well last year.
They have drafted well.
Last year they had. All right. They drafted what's his name? 23 they drafted Rashee Rice. The entire rest of the draft was a throwaway. Last year they drafted Worthy, and then they basically threw away the rest of the draft.
They drafted Creed Humphrey years ago.
That was years ago.
Yeah, but it's the same regime. That's why I'm saying like they drafted Pat Mahomes, they drafted Creed Humphrey, they drafted Tyreek Hill. Like you're not going to hit on every draft.
Yeah, I'm just saying like since 22 they haven't really they've hit on like they've drafted. They drafted 21 players, and 2 of them have had like real success for the team. So, I mean, it is what it is.
Gun to your head, the Chiefs are winning this Sunday?
Yeah, they'll win. They have to. They're not going to go 0-3. But the Monday night game is the best game of the week.
I agree.
Lamar Jackson is so.
Chiefs,
yeah, I just don't even care. But I hate talking about the Chiefs. I'm so over them. I hope they lose every game. That Travis Kelce's. I hate everything that guy's done over the last 5 years. Like he's annoying. The whole Pfizer thing is annoying. The Taylor Swift thing is annoying. It's just everything he does bothers me. Like I hope they lose every game, man.
Yeah, he's corny as shit.
It's a personal problem that I have.
And like. He lost them that game last week. Like I don't care if it was like he lost that game. Pat Mahomes hit him in the numbers in the end zone. That's a catch, dude. But there's no did you see that? Did you see that when he
Nope, I didn't even see. I don't watch them.
Oh my god.
I can't stand them. So, what do you think about Monday?
I think
easy
it's
to
an
beat the
appropriate.
Ravens.
I think it's an appropriate spread. It was at 5.5. It dropped down to 4.5. I want to see where they are at right now. They're probably still at 4.5. Yeah, they're at 4.5. I think Kyle Van Noy is out. Some other notable players out. Matabuke's out for the Ravens. Picard is out. Isaiah Likely's out. They're dealing with some injuries.
Is Lamar in?
Lamar's in.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That guy's
But
ridiculous.
Lamar also watched them collapse last week, 2 weeks ago, against the Bills. So I think, gun to my head, I guess I would have to say the Ravens are home. They've got a guy who's got 2 MVPs to his name, MVP runner-up last year at quarterback. But like, I feel good about the Lions here. Like,
Yeah.
Draco. I feel good about the Lions here. I think not having Van Noy out there is actually really big. That's a guy that had a lot of sacks for them last year. I think he was the AFC sack leader. Give this guy some chips. So if he stops pitching, here you go. Have some ruffles, buddy. I feel good about the Lions here. I think that everyone counted them out week 1. They came back week 2, looked a lot better. Obviously, the Bears are an inferior opponent than the Packers are. But, I think like if there's any team that could get into a shootout with the Ravens, it's Detroit. I think Johnny Morton, I wouldn't say like silenced people after last week's 50 burger, but like kind of showed everyone. Like at the beginning of this season, the big question everybody was asking was it Ben Johnson or was it Jared Goff? Right? And like I think the rational thing to say is like they both probably did things to help each other get to where they are. Right? Like Jared Goff is talented, Ben Johnson's a genius. They both worked in each other's favor. Last week, the Lions under Ben Johnson, I think, put up 50 points 3 times. They just did it in the second game without him. So,
Yeah.
this roster is still here. I think the interior of the offensive line is still a concern. I think PFF did not grade all 3 of those guys very high. But if they can find a way to continuously get that ball out of Jared's hands quick, they just have to find a way to get the run game going. The really concerning thing here at the Ravens is that I think Derrick Henry was at 12 yards last week, and they still put up over 40 points.
The guy's a menace.
Derrick Henry is a Hall of Famer, still playing at a Hall of Fame level, was ineffective last week, and they still blew the doors off.
You know why? Because not many people knew this. Going in, but Lamar is an amazing quarterback, and when you go and
you say this like he doesn't have MVPs to his name, like people still don't think he's great.
I'll till the end of time. I'm documented. I would have took Lamar over Baker Mayfield at number 1 overall that year.
Okay.
When you go to Lamar Jackson stats on Pro Football Reference and you see, rating, it's gold italicized. The best quarterback rating in the history of the league belongs to Lamar Jackson. Not only is he the best at throwing the ball, he is the number 1 rushing yards leader all time for quarterbacks, averaging 7 yards a carry or something ridiculous. So it's the only way to beat Lamar is for the Ravens to do what they did against the Bills and just take the ball out of his hands. So I think the Lions do have a chance just because the Lions have that high-powered offense, but it's just I don't know, man. The guy, if he was in my division, man, I wouldn't even bother watching because that shit is a wrap.
You couldn't watch. His dick is so far down your throat, you wouldn't be able to see a
The
fucking
guy's
game.
he's the epitome of of greatness right now. I know he doesn't have the Super Bowl, but he will. And when he gets that, I think
He
he's going
doesn't
to
have
enter.
playoff. He has a lot of playoff success. That's what's, and I'm not saying that that's solely on him. I'm saying that as someone who was pounding the table for Matt Stafford all his time in Detroit, right? But like, you've had very successful teams, you've had very talented teams, and you have, for the most part, failed to deliver in the play. Like, I think there is nothing left for Lamar to prove in the regular season. If Lamar Jackson retired today, he's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
We would agree he's a Hall of Famer. Okay. Like, the knock on him is the same knock John Elway dealt with for so long in Denver. Like, John Elway didn't win the Super Bowl until he was like, what, 36?
Yep.
Until he had Terrell Davis behind him, running with his blind with a migraine. So, like, until Lamar gets to a Super Bowl, this is like, he's gonna. That's the only thing I think you could hold against Lamar. I don't think I'm a hater for saying I think Joe Burrow's better. Like, I'd rather have Joe Burrow. It's not me saying I wouldn't want Lamar Jackson. It's just I think I'd rather have Joe Burrow. Now, Lamar's given you more availability than Joe has. I'll give you that. I also think Lamar has played on better. Whatever. This isn't a comparison. I brought up the comparison. That's my fault. Let's go back to the Monday night game. You're taking the Ravens here.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm
you're
taking
crazy.
the Ravens really specifically because they're home. It's not easy to beat a home like the Ravens at home just because their running
On
game
Monday
is so
night.
amazing. So
And I looked up Lamar's
he never
record.
loses on Monday night.
No, I think he's got 5 losses in prime time. I think on Monday night specifically, he's got like 3 losses.
Really?
Something like that. He's got
Surprising.
a crazy primetime stat. I looked it up.
This year he has he's got 136 quarterback rating, 6 touchdowns, no picks, hasn't fumbled, 10 yards per carry. It's like he figured out how to play football on another level. But Jared Goff is a good quarterback. If you block, they could put up 35 points. So if you put up 35 points, you have a chance in any game against any
that's
team.
kind of what I'm leaning on. I think I'm looking at the Lions here defensively. If you could if the offense can operate at and they weren't even that efficient last week. Like, I think the Bears are just that bad. Like, the Lions got, I think, 3 turnovers total in that game. I think 1 was a pick. And I think 2 were turnover on downs, 2 or 3 turnover on downs. And they didn't really do anything with any of those. You know, all the drives they scored on were drives like after a kickoff. They weren't able to do anything with that short field, which is something that Dan Campbell spoke a lot this week to the media about.
Well, you're not getting the turnovers this week. Let's say you get no turnovers this week. You got to be able to score 35 points without forcing a turnover. It's doable.
I mean, if they could force them to punt, like, I think if they're punting, but like if they're kicking field goals and they're not turning the ball over, it's gonna be hard to beat them. It's a really good defense too.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith is low key probably the second best middle linebacker in football. I mean, the guy's a stud. Like, Chicago, I was thrilled when they traded him. That was a trade that made no sense.
Would they send a second round pick?
They sent, I think, I want to say 2 day 2 picks. Like, I would have given him a first round pick for Roquan Smith. I don't care that I have to re-sign him. That guy's a stalwart to your defense.
It's amazing, huh? It's amazing.
I think
what they get.
Second round Lions, pick. Put it this way: if Baltimore, I don't think Baltimore is going to try to get in a track meet with Detroit. Like, I don't think, because I don't think that's a game that they win. I think they win this game by not making mistakes, Baltimore. The Lions want to keep Lamar on the sidelines, but I think they are inclined to keep Jared Goff on the sideline as long as possible too. I mean, you've got Jameson Williams that could burn most people. You've got St. Brown, who's gonna find a way to get open. You have, and they're doing all of this with a run game that, like, minus a couple big runs, has not really, like, the Lions' yards per carry right now. I think they're pretty high on, but that's really just a few big gains here from Jahmyr Gibbs. For the most part, most of their runs have been 3 yards, 5 yards. They really haven't had much. Jahmyr Gibbs has actually been hit behind the line of scrimmage quite a bit.
Yeah, it's completely different.
It is
from last year.
So
it's actually funny because I was avoiding Dave Montgomery in fantasy, and I'm pretty glad I did. I think his it's very
I think
hard.
this week they lean on him. I think they lean on him hard this week. Yeah, because you want to chew up clock. You want to keep Lamar on the sideline. And I think slowly but surely we're going to see a lot more Isaac Tesla. I mean, the guy's got 2 catches in his career, and they're both with one hand down the sideline. So, you know, they're doing all of this.
Where do you get him on the field, though? You're taking who off the field?
Well, he's not going to be on the field with 12 personnel, obviously. I think he's on the field, and anytime you've got he should be on the field anytime you've got 3 wide receivers on the field. He should be your wide receiver 3. I think they're easing him into this offense. But I think you're going to see some more things that are designed for him. I think kind of the idea with this offense is I think they want to use Jameson Williams as a decoy as much as they can. I think what they want, like a lot of last week, was using Jameson Williams to pull a corner and a safety off the field, basically.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown was able to catch, I think, 10 balls last week?
It was insane what he did.
If you look at all of those receptions, they're pretty much all with Jameson Williams 20 yards ahead, taking 2 guys out of the play. I mean, that's like if you watched any of the, whatever it may have been, the 2012 Lions with Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson, that was kind of the same idea, right? You use Calvin to take 2 or 3 defensive backs out of the play, and now more people are open. And I think that's really what they use Jameson Williams for. Like, Jameson's going to break out for one, but you use him to keep pulling the free safety out. And Jared Goff, like, most of his success is throwing to the middle of the field. And
how's Christian Mahogany been for you guys?
He's been all right. Tate Ratledge has looked, for a rookie, 2nd-round pick, Tate Ratledge has looked very good. He had a rough week 1, a much better week 2. His PFF score wasn't there, but I mean, listen, when I'm you know me, Facino, when I'm watching a game, I'm watching the interior of the offensive line. I'm watching guard, center, guard.
So you don't think Mahogany's been that great?
He's been all right. I think he was a project. You know, this was a guy drafted, and this wasn't a guy that was supposed to be playing this year. Like, this was a guy that was supposed to compete for the guard position opposite Graham Glasgow, next to Frank Ragnow, and then Frank retired. Like, that's why you're seeing Mahogany out there. It was supposed to be Mahogany and Ratledge competing for that spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they brought in Miles Frazier too, but I don't think he's played.
He's hurt. He may not even play this year.
He's a good player. Yeah, they have a lot of young guys there promising. Even if they don't have a great year this year, they'll be really good for years to come.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal, man.
Yeah. And I think next year they're going to be looking left tackle. I think this is kind of it for Decker. I think he's riding this year out. He's at that point in his career where he's not really practicing. He's kind of he's doing the walkthrough, and then Sunday he suits up. When you see an offensive lineman doing that, that's pretty much the sign.
Yep.
That's kind of it. What a lot of people say is like, oh, they're going to move Panay to Panay's staying at right tackle. They're just going to draft. They're either if Giovanni Manu is not ready to play left tackle, then I think you will see them go left tackle. Yeah, I think that's what you'll see them do.
So sucks that you can't watch any of these games, but it's going to be a good week.
But I'll have Monday night. So, what else do we have? You want to get into anything else, or you want to call it a night?
No, let's call it. Let's
Mike Trout
get
hit his
on.
400th home run, by the way, tonight.
Such a
So
sad
congratulations to
career.
Mike Trout. That is. That's a sad career.
Feel bad
Thank
for
God
the
he
guy.
never became a Philly.
So he should have made a big
No,
mistake.
that would have been terrible.
He should have went to the
That would have been
Yankees.
Terrible.
All right.
Yeah, he should have. Should have went to the Mets. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are going to blast this out on social media tomorrow. Anyone, any of your friends, let them know. Start watching the Sunny Days Media Football Show on Sunday
We're
morning,
back.
Saturday night. This is where we're going to try to be on Saturday nights. I think it's easier for us scheduling. It's easier for us to kind of not have to watch the clock here, and it's a good spot to be in. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you all next week. So let's go Lions. Let's go Jets. Let's go Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. I hope they lose.